Are you man enough to vote for a woman? This is a great name. It sounds gay to me, but not that there's anything wrong with being gay. But there's a group. It's not white guys for Kamala. It's creatives. It's creatives for Kamala. This is a group. And this guy who I think is, I don't know if he's one of the main writers for Jimmy Kimmel or one of the Jimmys.
What an impressive credential that is, by the way.
Yeah. Well, is this masculinity thing in the grassroots at all, or is this a total media concern? This idea about masculinity and the crisis of American masculinity and Tim Waltz being, a good model of masculinity and all this stuff. Is that just a media thing, or is there something?
I think there's a crisis in humanity.
Well, this is true.
Our sense of humanity.
No, it's the triviality. Yeah, all the stuff going on, and you have, she's agreeing that he's a fascist. He's saying, they're saying that he's going to save us from communism. That Kamala is a communist. Okay, and then fact checking weird things, and now this masculinity thing. So it's like, the foreign policy stuff, genocide stuff, all this stuff, all the other economic issue and other economic issues. Like, no, we're going to talk about important things, and that's about how Tim Waltz is the antidote to MAGA's toxic masculinity.
Well, they're just like going back and forth on it, because like there were conservatives who were saying that Tim Walz was selected to be a mockery of masculinity, right? Last month. So they just go back and forth. I'm rubber, you're glue.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this fantastic thing.
They're doing the dozens.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Not a parody. It's produced by Creatives for Kamala. Any thoughts?
No, I'm totally speechless.
Push any man buttons? I mean, are you just like, yeah? Or, I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm glad they gave a shout out to fatherhood.
Yeah.
I'm not a father myself. I'm child free, as we've established on the show. But that was
ladies. Garrett's child free. Doesn't have that baggage.
That was the most normal thing in the ad, and they gave it to the black guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it
was a pro black family. And, but how do they feel about white families? So
yeah. No, but it was like that guy in the truck. He's just like, well, who sits like that? I mean, great posture, but what's going on there? No, and the guy who's like, I eat carburetors for breakfast, and someone pointed out like most cars don't have carburetors anymore, but whatever. And it was just like, and to me, it's like, of course, there's a lot of variety, but I'm like, they paint it like there's this real danger of us going back to like the 1920s or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can only speak to my experience and whatnot, but I'm like, are there people running around just like so like afraid of women and afraid of women talking, and it's like, it just seems that there's this trap that we get into. Just obviously there are issues. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the gender ID stuff is crazy, but this idea that they keep on knocking on these open doors. They keep on. It seems like they're acting like that. Especially when you get to like a PMC type women, middle class and upper class, like and even I think that some idea that we're just in like this morass, this swamp of oppression, and like we're all treated like the secretaries and Mad Men or something. Every one of us is dealing with a Harvey Weinstein at work, or I mean, and there are these issues, but it just seemed like this is. I'm not afraid of the patriarchy. I gotta say, people.
Yeah, and even the thing with the braiding my daughter's hair thing, it's just a bit much. Like,
see, we don't have to be worried anymore, because if Waltz wins, he's a joyful warrior, and the last days of patriarchy. Done. Is that worldwide or whatever? Yeah. So I guess Tim Waltz drives MAGA men nuts. He's living proof that their tormented masculinity is yesterday's news. Well, of course, I get this thing because they have to.
It's the last days of something.
Yeah, they have to. They have to externalize. They have to They have to put a label, or they have to put MAGA in a box that makes them feel safe. Like, oh well, this is the reason why. Is because they're just these throwbacks. It's like toxic masculinity. It's nothing structural. It's nothing. It's not like a morbid symptom pretending that the center will not hold or anything like that. No, it's just, there's some guys and they just haven't got with the program yet, and that's all you need to know about MAGA.
Well, I guess he's at war with the patriarchy.
Joyful warrior. Okay. Well, not you know. I mean, he's not. Of course, yeah. I mean, if you need someone with a gun, you don't want him. He's proven.
Yeah.
Even though he's quite adamant. But okay, so here we go. More with this. Tim Waltz's masculinity is terrifying to Republicans. Kamala Harris's running mate has Kamala Harris's running mate has traditional manly man traits. Okay. But he's also not frightened of women. Here's this thing, like this is such like this is the worst. This is the worst. This is the worst dime store vulgar feminism I've ever heard. They're just frightened of women. So Tim Waltz, I will say, I don't know why they want to call it masculinity. I mean, he is a dude or a guy. He does seem to be upbeat. He's always with so he seems to be positive guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, Tim Dillon calls him funnel cake dad. So yeah, he does have, I guess, suburban middle class, late middle age or early senior citizen masculinity. But yeah, he's never gonna live down the Elmer Fudd comparison.
So this guy says Tim Waltz's gun is so new that he doesn't know how to load it. His outfit is so new that it still has creases, except for the chaps. He's had those for a while. Okay. Oh, so this is about the Man Enough ad that we just watched. So the most hilarious part about the Man Enough ad is not only could they not find 6 stereotypical manly men to endorse Kamala, they couldn't even find 6 normal men. Even worse, they couldn't find 6 feminine men who were able to fake being normal men for 30 seconds. They were on camera in a country of 330 million. One last one. How Vance and Waltz represent a battle to define masculinity. Again, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance tell men they're losing a game that's rigged against them, while the Harris-Waltz campaign encourages men to strive for better, to be unburdened by what has been. Yes, we look ahead, unburdened by what has been, men. Okay.
I thought the whole point of being woke is that you couldn't you couldn't totally unburden like white supremacy is eternal. And
that's true. Why can't we unburden from all that? Yeah.
Like, aren't we just have to live with the burden?
Can we tell? Because there was a thing about Indigenous Day instead of Columbus Day. We should tell the Indigenous people to be unburdened by reparations. Sorry, we're looking ahead, unburdened by what has been.
Yeah. So the cultural turn has really arrived, hasn't it?
Yeah. So this guy, he's oh my God, he's a hoot. Jahan Jones. Jahan. Not Joan, Jahan.
It's like a supervillain name.
Yeah. This post is the first in the MAGA and masculinity in 2024, an ongoing series examining the societal fallout from right-wing hypermasculinity. Woo. And the people fighting its toxic messaging by positively redefining what it means to be a man. I don't know. You better. I'm sorry about this. I feel like just reading this, we're going to make your testosterone drop a bit.
I think they're practicing toxic intersectionality.
Nothing's more nice than talking about masculinity like it's a disease or it's a syndrome. If these guys would just be more like women, and a particular type of woman, then that would be great. It's like, yeah. I mean, I don't want my guy to be rude, but I don't want him to be a woman. Anyway, I mean, because obvious reasons. Let's see.
I think I'm going to schedule an appointment to be tested for this. If my masculinity has reached toxic levels. Yeah,
it's a hypermasculine. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. Tim Walz is clearly a Midwest man's man. What the fuck is that? But he's the antidote to toxic MAGA masculinity. Here's the thing. It's like, are they trying? Do they want to piss men off? I mean, not that a lot of guys are probably reading who aren't, creatives for Kamala or white men for Kamala or whoever for Kamala. But like, I'm looking at my son, he has his issues, but I'm like, fuck you. If someone started saying this masculinity was toxic, be like, I'd ask for some details. I mean,
it's crazy. It's like that we live in the age of the cultural turn and like the advertorial, like these two horrible trends have like emerged where you can't tell the journalism from the campaign ads anymore.
Yeah.
They're both saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
They're not even trying to hide it.
Oh, but people have been spoofing this. So I forgot to add this after the Men for Kamala, but like this is the guy who's, and they're spoofing it. And this spoof was sex with my wife. I'm man enough to let another man do it. Heck, I'd even watch. Sex for Kamala. Destiny. Well, yeah, Destiny for Kamala. Yeah. And I also I never heard this phrase raw dogging a fight. I've heard of raw dogging.
Yeah.
And I was like, when he's like raw dogging a fight, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? That seems weird. And then someone said that it was like you don't get anything. You don't have any, like, don't bring any water or food or anything. You just go on the flight with nothing. And I'm like, why would you use that expression? I guess
it's like a joke apparently that like only Zoomers would get, really.
Okay. So I was like, that seems weird. Oh, I wanted to show this again because this was kind of funny too. People mocking Tim Walz. So you have Hunter, and it's a picture of Hunter Biden with a crack pipe in his mouth, and then it says not a hunter. It's by Tim Walz. This is by Bad Ombre.